Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. We are bringing you a breaking news brief today because, well, we are currently tracking some incoming real-time information regarding a live connectivity holding pattern. If you're trying to establish a connection right now, you absolutely need to hear this. We're actively monitoring a situation where the digital gateway is initiating a super strict security and connectivity protocol. We've got the exact status updates, the ongoing system checks, and most importantly, the mandatory system requirements you actually need to meet to successfully reach your destination. We're going to break down exactly what is happening behind the screen. Okay, let's dive into this. The very first piece of information coming across the wire is a direct message from the system interface itself, and it literally just says, "Just a moment." This triggers a mandatory digital pause. The second you initiate this connection, the system is immediately demanding a temporary, strictly enforced halt before granting any further access to the network. Now, you might be wondering if your internet just dropped. No way. This isn't a glitch. It's a highly intentional holding pattern designed to temporarily freeze the traffic. You literally cannot bypass this. You simply have to wait while the initial invisible security barriers drop into place. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact chronological unfolding of this live update. We can map this out second by second. Point 1, the very first second of interaction is that restrictive just a moment phase we just talked about. But moving quickly to point 2, at second 2, we get a crucial, incredibly positive update, verification successful. This is massive because it indicates that the initial rapid-fire security sweep has officially cleared you. But hold on, the progression doesn't stop there. We immediately enter point 3, which is an ongoing active state of waiting for OpenAI.com. So we've officially moved from the initial pause, right through the security clearance, and straight into this standby phase. Looking at the data we have, it reveals a pretty stark contrast. On one side, we've got the initial status, just a moment. This is restrictive, right? It essentially represents a closed gate. But we immediately contrast that with the updated status of verification successful. This is the green light we've been looking for. We can officially report from the news desk here that the critical security verification process has cleared its checks. The tension of that initial lockdown hold is completely released by the positive update that your specific system has been recognized, vetted, and cleared by the first security layer. But the journey isn't quite over yet, and this brings us to the primary target of the connection. The data points heavily to the exact destination server, which is OpenAI.com. We can report that while our local initial verification was absolutely successful, we're currently sitting in a holding pattern. We're actively waiting for that specific server to respond to our ping. It's a two-way street, you know? Our local gate has opened, we've beamed our signal across the network, and now all eyes are on OpenAI.com. We're totally on standby, just waiting for them to return the digital handshake and finalize the entire connection. Now, while we wait for that response, we are getting actionable directives coming across the wire, and you absolutely need to be aware of these to resolve any potential holding patterns on your own end. The incoming information strictly mandates certain technical parameters. Guys, this isn't optional guidance. These are mandatory requirements. To continue through this gateway, the protocol dictates two critical things. First, users must have JavaScript enabled, and second, users must have cookies enabled. If your browser or system is blocking either of these things, the incoming data makes it crystal clear. Your connection is going to remain totally stalled out. So the crucial point is that we now have an exact, mandatory sequence of steps that the public must complete in order to safely progress past this digital checkpoint. It's a highly specific, locked-in progression. Step 1, enable JavaScript. Step 2, enable cookies. Only when both of those technical parameters are actively confirmed on your specific machine can you finally proceed to step 3, which is to simply continue. Without completing these exact steps in this exact order, the verification process just cannot finalize its connection to the destination. It's really that simple. Which brings us to the absolute most important part of this entire brief. We've laid out the incoming information, we've walked through the moment-by-moment verification status, the destination server we're waiting on, and the strict mandatory protocols required to actually reach it. But the final piece of the puzzle? Well, that relies entirely on your local setup. So the question we have to leave you with today is this: are your systems actually enabled to continue? Take a moment right now to verify your own technical compliance. Check your JavaScript and check those cookies, because at the end of the day, your readiness is the absolute only way you'll be able to proceed. Thanks for joining this explainer. Make sure your settings are optimized, and we'll keep monitoring the wire for the next update.